Hey folks, welcome to We Built This White Lake. My name is Amy Van Loon. I'm the Executive Director of the White Lake Area Chamber of Commerce, and we are your hosts for We Built This White Lake, which is a series of podcasts we are interviewing local businesses and organizations to tell their story. And we are now launching our fourth season. And to do so, we have invited the City of Montague here in the CatchMark Technologies studio to be our guests. Welcome to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I am thrilled to have these individuals at the table and at the mic to tell their story. Representing the City of Montague Council, we have Laura LaGuire and Susan Newhoff, along with the City of Montague Mayor Tom Lohman. So thanks again for coming in and sharing your story. And so we're going to go ahead and get started with that. Tom, I'm going to have you kick us off and share with our viewers, what is the history of Montague and when did the city start? Was it a village? Was it a city? Where did the name come from? So many questions. So go ahead and share with us.
We belong to the White Lake Area Historical Society, and a lot of the information is also up on the Montague website.
Okay.
If we look at the name White Lake, it was because there was a lot of white clay around in the city.
Oh, sure.
And a lot of it went out into the lake. The first settler in the city was Job Sargent. He was part of the War of 1812, and they gave him a section of the Michigan. And he came here first and built a cabin where the Weather Vane Inn is now. After that, some mills started, and it was shortly that there were 16 mills in the area. After that, there were some other people that came, and you look at the city's streets, most of them were named after a lot of heroes in some of the wars. In 1935, the city became a city instead of a village. It first started as a village. It's a small, friendly little village.
It is.
Or town.
Yeah. You know, you think back on that, 16 sawmills, that's pretty significant for a small area. And I'm sure there were more up and down the shoreline. But what a significant number in industry and how important that was to our community at that time.
Yes.
Also important to Chicago because we were processing a lot of the wood that went to rebuild Chicago after the fire.
Sure. So those Chicagoans are saying, hey, those people up there in White Lake, they've got it. So good. We were just having a conversation a minute ago, too, about when was it a village? When was it a city? And back then, there was back and forth of claiming it as a first-class city.
A few years ago, we celebrated 150 years
Yay.
as Montague.
Okay.
But in 1935, it actually became a city.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you.
Amy, it got its name because much of the land was owned by William Montague Ferry, and he deeded the land on which Montague is now located to his son, and his son named it Montague.
Wow.
After his father's middle name.
Wow.
He deeded it to Noah.
Wow.
Nice.
Interesting. Nice. Well, good. Anything else on that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, all right. Well, looking at a next question, Montague has a unique way of taking on challenges and turning them into opportunities. What are some of those opportunities and those challenges? And I'm just going to look at our two councilwomen just to see what are some of those challenges and opportunities that the city faces?
Yeah, I'll start off with that one, Amy. So Montague is a small city, and it's somewhat landlocked. And when I say that, I mean we are the city limits. We don't have a lot of open lots for new construction, additional homes, which provides a tax base, right? Mm-hmm. So I think one of our challenges is how do we continue to provide the excellent service that you hear so many talk about, our roads and our DPW and things like that, without constantly increasing tax base, right? So that's a real challenge for us. We have a great city manager who finds a way to get grants for our town. And so a lot of our park improvements, our sidewalk improvements, things like that have actually come from grants.
Okay.
So I kind of take that as a flipping from a challenge into an opportunity for
Sure,
improvement.
yeah.
And we actually are able to reduce our tax millage this coming year. So
Okay.
that's just fantastic, I think,
Yay,
for a small
good,
town.
good.
Yeah.
I also love that we've looked at the challenge of climate change to see what we can do about it, how we can participate in that. If you look around in a few places in Montague, you'll see that we've installed solar collectors in small places. So we have them at the base of one of our water towers. We have them up on City Hall.
Okay. All right.
State has also mandated that we change the lead lines out, and I think we've been given 10 years to do that. Currently, we're ahead of schedule,
Okay.
and so I think out of 300 or 500, we're at 300 and something.
All right.
They've been doing a great job. You know, you think of communication kind of as a challenge too. Everybody's used to the paper, right? The newspaper, the
right.
print.
Yeah.
And that's how we typically have gotten the word out about meetings or events coming up. We've been able to put in place some text messaging apps, and it's kind of in its rollout phase, but now our citizens can sign up to receive text messages about what's going on, and we're looking into expanding that. How can we expand the messages that we can send out through text messages, trying to keep up with technology? So
Look at
Some
you
fun
guys,
stuff,
City of
right?
Montague, getting all techie on us. I love
stuff.
it. That's great. Well, and to that point too, Laura, it's keeping up with the times.
is.
We some of us still love that newspaper, and it's a little bit of an awkward era of how do we get the news to our community? How do we get the word out on X, Y, or Z to our citizens? So you have to be creative and forward thinking. So kudos to you guys for being that agent. I love that.
Fun.
I think what
Amy mentioned that that we've been able to reduce our taxes, and in fact, we've been able to reduce them in 4 out of the last 5 years.
Wow.
So
Okay.
in spite of all of the improvements that we're doing to roads and to parks and installing technology, we're also bringing the tax rate down.
Down. Wonderful.
And I think Susan just mentioned the parks. We have a great city group that works for us, and we have accomplished a lot with minimal amount of people.
Wow. Great.
Been great.
Good. Why Montague? Why would someone want to move here? What is it about the community, or what is it that you think draws people here? What is it that people would say, oh, this is why I want to come to Montague, either to visit or to live? Why Montague?
We were talking earlier about who of us were born and raised here and who found Montague, and I'm the one who found Montague. We drove through it one day, moving back from, of all places, Washington, D.C., and drove up Old Channel Trail, and there was a house for sale, and I apparently yelled, "Stop the car." and that was it. We,
That's awesome.
We called the realtor, we went through and we bought it.
Okay.
And what we discovered is the incredible friendliness in this town, its walkability, its safety. It's small enough so that there's this great sense of community and of neighborliness, but it's also big enough so that it has lots of activities. We mentioned the parks. We've got these festivals like Pumpkin Fest and Cruisin' and all these things going on that you would expect to find in a bigger city. They're all here too. And they're a little smaller, and it all is very accessible. My mom moved here when she was 85 from Grand Rapids, and she said, this is a great place for families and for people to raise children. It's also a wonderful place for older people because everything is so close. We've got a great grocery store down the street. We have the Book Nook and Java Shop for coffee and live music. We have stores, we have clothing stores, we have the farmer's market and the artisan market. There's so much, and it's so accessible.
Bike trails within the city, but then also lead out to the surrounding communities and countryside, all accessible within town. It's great. We have the only paved boat launch on White Lake, along with a fish cleaning station, so we can accommodate our sportsmen, our people that love to just go out and enjoy the lake. And I got to tell a funny story. So I have grown up here, and when the campground first was opening up, a lot of us that have been here for a long time are like, a campground in the city limits? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Right? Like, who's going to go there?
Yeah.
I have talked to so many people that have come in and are repeat visitors to the campground because it is so close. There's accessibility to White Lake. You have the grocery store. You have Sawyer's. You have the ice cream shop. You've got bike trail. It's just, everything is just right there. They don't have to worry about their kids. They can go do whatever. It has turned out to be a really great success.
And so many of those amenities have happened and grown organically. And some of them have been very thoughtful in the city's planning process as well, and being mindful of what the city needs, and to not only our locals and the ones that live here, but also tourists and to our visitors. So kudos to that thought process.
One of the big things, if you attend the Michigan Municipal League conferences, is they want to make cities walkable. You mentioned the bike path, and we are constantly out there trying to get the sidewalks fixed up so that it's walkable. You mentioned the kids. There's the Little League fields. There's other things that are in planning for pickleball or a dog park. And so we keep going ahead. Even the sledding hill and the ice rink, we keep moving forward.
I love that we also have these long standing family businesses like Tri-County Feed, which goes back many generations in their family. And there it is. And you might expect that you can find things for horses and cattle and sheep there, the grains and products that you need. But they've also changed with the times, and they carry a big line of excellent and specialty dog and cat foods and products for pet birds, for wild birds, for all those little pets that people have in their houses now, the little mammals. They have it all. And it's so wonderful to see this family business be able to continue and grow and be so strong here, and that we have this in our little town. It's such a good resource.
Yay.
Talk about longtime businesses. You've got Lipka's Soda Fountain. Right?
Yes.
Step up to the counter and have an old-fashioned soda or malt. That's
People
really
love that.
That's stepping back in time, right?
Yeah.
I think one of the things that we haven't mentioned so far is the band shell.
Yeah.
In the summer, they have bands down there almost every
Free
weekend.
concerts.
Free concerts on
right.
Tuesday. And I think COVID changed some stuff where people are starting to work from home. And so a lot of people have moved to the area, or maybe out in the township, but moved to the area because now they can work from home.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's nice.
We also have a splendid little library. It is part of the
love
Muskegon
that.
Area District Library. We have a terrific staff and a group of volunteers there. And when you walk in, I think you'll find that the silent libraries of our youth are no longer the reality. Now they are busy, active places where children can come in and find out how to make things and do crafts and so many hands-on things. They do programming for adults and children all year long. They have a very strong Friends of the Montague Library program. We did 4 authors, brought in 4 authors this summer. These are award-winning authors, in some cases published internationally as well as nationally. And we held those book talks at the Book Nook and Java Shop, all free. So again, you don't have to have a lot of money to be able to take part in all of these activities. So much of it is free and open to the public.
And I'm glad you mentioned the library, because they just instituted a new program where you can actually check out a laptop computer.
Oh, wonderful.
So if you need to have access to the internet and maybe your phone just isn't cutting it,
Sure.
you can go in and rent out a laptop too. So we're trying to keep up.
Yeah.
One of the other things about this area is the great rivalry between Montague and Whitehall, the schools.
Yes.
And you can see that in the sports, not only in football, but it's also in all the music and all the other academic things where both schools excel. I think the other thing in this area is the cooperation, the 4th of July
for
parade,
sure.
the fireworks, the celebrations, the fire protection and the police protection, they're mutually helping each other.
I agree. Yeah, being a transplant here, I live on the Whitehall side of the river. However, being a transplant, I don't see that bridge as being as long as what is some people may think it is, and so it is. People are like, oh, we need a coffee shop. We have one. It's in downtown Montague, and
less than a mile away.
Exactly, yeah, and that high walkability score really bodes well for the city of Montague, and that infrastructure challenges and opportunities that you were just talking about, Laura. That things are so walkable, and our outdoor resources are amazing and very present in city of Montague.
That's a great place.
Amy, I think one of the things people might also not expect in a small town, Tom touched on it with our fire protection. We have a very skilled crew of volunteer firefighters, a new firehouse, and also housed in that firehouse is our ambulance authority. And there are two people who stay there 24 hours a day. They change shifts, but they're on call 24 hours a day from that location. And they can get to any place in their jurisdiction in this area in 8 minutes.
Oh,
and that can make the difference
amazing.
between life and death.
Sure.
Literally.
Yeah. I don't want to put us on the spot and ask what your favorite attraction. I'm not going to ask what your favorite business is because I love them all. We love the city of Montague. The DPW is amazing. Downtown looks great. It looks tidy and clean and safe. But attractions. What are your favorite attractions? You can even name, a couple. But if I were to put you on the spot, what would you say is your favorite attraction in the city of Montague?
Oh, for me, it's the accessibility to water. So in town, right, we're right on White Lake. So we have the boat launch. The bike path goes right along the lake, but we also have access to the channel at Lake Michigan, right?
Sure.
There's a small park out there that's considered Montague.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. And
Yes.
so just the accessibility to water is just awesome for me.
that.
It's probably one of my favorite.
Yeah. Not every community can say that. They
right.
have
That's
that
right.
kind of accessibility to water.
For sure.
I love the water also, and I walk every morning. One of the places that we often go is off the bike trail to the wetlands. And we've built trails out into the wetlands. And that is very special on an early spring morning to watch the cranes coming in and watch the geese coming in, excuse me, the muskrats waking up. And it's very quiet in terms of people's sounds, and it's very noisy with the wildlife sounds. And I just find that you can immerse yourself in that and stand in that wetlands area. So it's a pretty precious experience.
I love that. Yeah.
I think one of the things for me is the walkability and the bike trail. If I go back a couple of years or several years, my wife hasn't rode a bike for probably 10 or 15 years. So last fall we bought electric trikes, and we've been using them on the bike trail and on the paths. And you said go out and have a picnic. We've been going down and have a picnic by the lake or
And in our parade.
in our parade.
Yes,
We
yeah,
go out in
that's
the
awesome.
parade, yes.
Good. Yeah. I love to, these are all absolutely in my, top 10, list. The world's largest weather vane. It's strange how something so kind of unique could, your city, that's kind of your iconic landmark, right? And folks come into the Chamber Information Center and say, we're looking for the world's largest weather vane. We hear it again and again and again, and had been challenged years back as to, is it really the world's largest weather vane? Well, it's the largest one in my world, but it's also operating, and it's just a beautiful park for people to go and hang out. The city does a nice job of keeping that beautiful, and why not? Okay, it's the world's largest weather vane, and it's beautiful, and just such a great landmark in our community.
It is, and I love that we incorporate the military into that respect and honor.
Yeah,
It's nice.
Very good.
I also love that we have partnered with the Arts Council of White Lake New Veen Center, which over the last several years has been doing a lot of public art installation. So right aside our Artisan Market Village, we have several beautiful pieces of sculpture again, that's something that you wouldn't expect to come and find in a small town. And the Art Center is, a 2-minute drive. It's just across the bridge, where, again, all sorts of classes for adults and children, a beautiful gallery, a place to shop, a place to buy Christmas and birthday presents. And so to have an arts council like that also in this small region, I think is very special.
Yeah.
And we are so close. So we're like, maybe a 15, 20-minute drive from downtown Muskegon, and you can be in Grand Rapids in under an hour.
Yeah.
Right? So you can still have that small town family feel, but then if you want a night on the town, you're only 40 minutes away. So it's
It's
perfect
still a good
location.
resource for us.
Yes.
You mentioned small town. When we are in the process of updating our manuals. That's a state thing we have to do every few years.
Okay.
And we sent out a survey, and a lot of the people came back with a survey. I wanted to keep a quaint, small little town.
Yep.
Great.
That's why we live here.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing with our viewers and even me about the city of Montague. Any parting thoughts for our listeners today?
I think I just like to say, I grew up here. I did move away for a while, a couple years in, the late 20s, 30s when you're thinking you know better and all of that. But I did move back, and, I find that I live in a place where people want to come on vacation.
Yeah, great.
So I love it.
As a one-time outsider discovering this beautiful area, it has been a tremendous place for us to settle and to stay. Yeah. And part of what I love here is that you can get involved in so much.
Nice.
And I think you said the same thing. We live in a place where people want to come and vacation, but whether it's for a day or for a week or for longer, there's so much to see and do in this area.
Yeah, great.
Great.
I love our collaboration also as a Chamber of Commerce with the City of Montague, but also with the City of Whitehall. I love how the two towns do collaborate, and we kind of touched on that already. For those that are listening, if you are part of the community, congratulations, and you are a part of Americana. For those that are listening that haven't been here, please come and visit us. You can check out their website as well as the Chamber's website, whitelake.org, and find out a little bit more about us. And if you have visited before, please come back. With that, thanks to our viewers for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.